Next up, we've got a wonderful poet who came in all the way from Eureka Springs, Arkansas. She is the author of Reading Berryman to the Dog and Discount Fireworks by Jacaranda Press. Wonderful books, largely about this area, though she lives in Eureka Springs now. Let's hear from Wendy Taylor Carlisle.
All right. I don't write a lot of political poetry. But I have one issue in this election. One issue, and it's women. I really care. It really matters to me. I will talk to you about it, and I'll talk to you about the war on women for a long time. This is a poem about a young woman that I knew who was very famous in India as a singer of raga songs. And we were all astonished who knew her to discover that she had committed suicide by throwing herself off the second story of her house. Now think about the logistics of that. She had a difficult husband who beat her. Nobody knows what happened to her, but this is my poem for Shanti Sharma, The Physical World. Indian classical singer jumps to death. Headline, The Independent Bangladeshi. The truth, the feet, the drought, under the spring mud, the woman. The greatest poverty is not to live in a physical world, says Stevens. Fact is, our teeth will outlive us. And this year's grain rots in our bellies while we live on in the dullness of matter. Hunger that sticks to your fur is elsewhere. We have only to consider a beautiful singer. Ask what the roof knows, what the rain knows, what the dirt knows now. Okay, and we've had a lot of war in the last few years. 10 years? How long have we been in Afghanistan? Lots of war. This was a war before those wars. This was a war that went on for unacknowledged for years after the war was over. The war. She had the war inside, so when he came home with his napalm, his foreign women, it only seemed natural the fight would continue. Their marriage, the tunnel they twisted in, their breath hissing like missiles across the perimeter. They fit together like hinged and pin, blew apart as easily as a mined knee left the usual phantom limb. These are awkward for me because I really don't read them a lot, but I think I can manage. I was surprised. Lots of stuff pisses me off. I was surprised that I had that stuff. So, this is Sexy Cars. Drying out as we age, humans, like spilled oil, are subject to chemical weathering. Dulled by sunlight, after a spill, oil at the surface forms a slick. A moose releases arsenic, ruinous to snowy plover, beachgoers' literal life. Tar, transported by Langmuir circulation, clumps on the beach, sticks to the feet, accretes, accumulates sand. Quick! Remove it with toothpaste, kerosene, mayonnaise. Reports come back from the Pacific cliffs. Out there is not far enough away. Progress follows us to islands of trash bags. From the Gulf, stories swirl of bottlenose dolphin calves washed up on the beaches. Our shadows slip past us like weasels through a chicken fence. We can only listen to the stories so long before we say to each other, yes, I'm tired too, and turn our attention to credit cards, to buying unreliable, sexy cars. And this is definitely a poem for this area. I have good friends in this area. I've spent a lot of time here. And I went to school up north, where they don't get the South. I mean, it just, I don't know. I tried to explain. So this is the poem that I wrote as when I just got sick of saying stuff about the South. My South. On the left, the Chuffalaya, so black, so burnt inside, silent as a pot. Down south, our lips equal silt and common bliss. Down here, we carry our graves folded in a pocket, a cardboard hunger, a box, and shards. The woman beside me in this food line wears a skin-tight skirt, has a backdoor man. Down south, we have the right to cliche and gossip, to numbers and pawn. Down south, we observe the bendable rules that stand in for bone. Below Missouri, we got a chicory bias. Low blues and Jolie Blonde are the national anthem. Down here, I learned acoustics from Professor Longhair, religion from the Mardi Gras gods, and patience in February's saxophone wind. Like buckwheat and the meters, I adjust my heartbeat to the pulse of the tune. Despite the hunter, I'm the snake half of the gator. Despite the facts of jazz, I'm as romantic as a bad house band. I still think of salvation every time. Night train, sugarcane, souffle, étouffée. The key to muddy silence is under my tongue. Where your world gapes open, darling, I shiver in. And Jonathan and I are doing an erasure project. Erasure poetry is where you take a piece of writing, smash words is really good for this, and you erase to make a poem. This one was really kind of heartbreaking. It was a letter from an Iraqi translator and poet and journalist writing to a friend of his in the States, talking about the situation in Iraq today. Erasure 1. Writers and thinkers, my mind is mad with questions and explosions. What are the motives for killing people at random? People who are not in politics, religion, or fortune, kids playing in the road, women marketing, families or young men chatting in a cafe under the umbrella of democracy. Can anyone explain to these people so happy in the last days of Ramadan, preparing for the Eid? Criminal deeds continue. A 7-year-old, his corpse in pieces on the school roof. An 11-year-old, a splinter the size of a hand, flies into his heart. Sunni or Shiite, does he know the difference? Nobody knows where the corpses are. Who is responsible? What can anyone say? Kids die in such a horrible way. Is this the best technology? Exploding people by remote control?